Good morning, Biloxi High! We hope last week all students were able to settle back into their typical routines. Luckily, this week is looking like a somewhat smooth week.
That's right. Monday, April 20th, the Ward 6 town meeting is in the Internet Cafe at 5:30 p.m. And on Wednesday, April 22nd, Term 4 progress reports will be distributed during 5th period. So, be sure to stay on top of your grades and turn in any work before Tuesday.
The library is currently reserved for CPR training at 3:30 on Wednesday for coaches and teachers who need to get your certification. End of this week, April 23rd, 24th, and 25th, Biloxi High School's Tribe Theater and Biloxi High School's band are combining for an annual spring musical.
It's so exciting. For general admission, the tickets are $15 and $10 for students. As always, it's free for all BPS employees and for kids under the age of 8. The show begins at 7 p.m. in the BPAC for all 3 performing days, with a matinee on the 25th of April at 2 p.m. Show up to support our amazingly talented performers.
That's all for general updates here at Tribe TV. Let's look at our sports updates. Here's Emma and Alan.
How's it going, Biloxi? It's time for a sports update.
We're keeping it incredibly short this week.
We'll start on Thursday, April 23rd. On this day, girls flag football will compete at West Harrison.
And on Saturday, the 25th, track and field South State meet.
And that's all we've got this week. We have the opposite of a busy week ahead of us, which is even more of a reason you should go out and support while you can.
That's not all, though. We've got a few things coming up later this month.
That's right, for our female athletes. Lady Indians soccer tryouts will be held at BHS Stadium on the 29th. You can scan the QR code on your screen now for tryout form.
And for our waterbound athletes, swim team tryouts will be at the natatorium on the 29th and the 30th. To register, visit BiloxiIndiansSwimming.com.
And that will wrap up our sports.
Let's get back to Lyric and Maddie for the rest of this week's announcements.
See you next week.
Thanks, guys. Don't forget to support our fellow athletes as well. Now, let's move into some segments.
Emma had the opportunity to sit down with one of the ladies behind the canopy screener to get more insight. Here's that interview now.
Of life. So that helped me, inspire me to pour into other youths as those things were poured into me. I feel like it's a new set of challenges, that most of us adults haven't had to deal with or think in, I think one of the challenges is getting people to listen to you. Letting them know that your voice is important. That we're not here to tell you what to do. Helping you be more confident. I think some other challenges are, the current events that are going on in the world. A long time ago, the American dream looked different than what it does today. So I think definitely the challenge for you all is navigating how we have evolved in this country and being successful in your own right. Y'all are creating so many things. I'm so impressed with a lot of youth that I meet today. And I learned a lot from you all, So that's definitely one of the bigger challenges is how to navigate now with what the world looks like today. So every week, every student gets an email. In that email, there's a mile marker that you complete that has various topics such as sleep, mindfulness, nutrition, peer pressure, bullying, digital citizenship, and all those things. But anyway, every 4 weeks we do the hope screener, and if it alerts us to you have low hope, a counselor will then speak to you, and then you all will decide with your caregivers if you want to be a part of our extended services, where we will work with you on whatever it is you choose. I have some really fun goals that I have working with some of my kids. Fun fact, what you do week to week is confidential, unless you decide that you want to discuss that with us. Outside of that, you get to tell us what your goal is. I'm simply there to help you put it down on paper. We're going to make it real. I'm here to motivate you, encourage you, remind you what your strengths are, remind you how you got through something similar before. Because the point is we want you to practice accomplishing your goals, no matter what they are. Your goal may look different today than it does 5 years from now. So I had a student today ask me, why y'all want to know so much stuff about us? Because we want you to start thinking about yourself. We want you to start thinking about your future. I've heard a lot of great stories throughout the state from my other colleagues, and we were able to really intervene in some critical situations. And that youth just basically told us that I have been feeling this way for a long time, it's just nobody asked me the question. So it's a built-in check-in for you. You look good, you're getting good grades, but how are you really doing? So as we learn those skills right now today, it has to increase how you are as an adult and how successful you'll be. I hope that they learn to, number one, make good choices for themselves. I hope that they learn to advocate on their own behalves, to also learn who are their supports, who's in their pit crew, who are those people that are going to help them along the way. I want them to also know that no matter what it is, you can do it, as long as you believe in yourself. The Canopy way is hope is the belief that your future can be brighter than your past, and you have the power to change that. You have some kids who feel powerless. They don't feel like they can change their future, but you have to understand that what you do now is going to affect you way on down the line. So if you're practicing those good things now, setting goals, accomplishing your goals, first of all, being proud of yourself, because sometimes we're just not that proud of ourselves. We don't know what we're doing is great. Somebody else may be, you never know who you're inspiring or who you're motivating. And you're amazing, so it's up to us to remind you of that. And it does help keep you going, even old ladies like me.
That concludes this week's episode of Tribe TV. You know the drill. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you next time, same tribe. See you next week!
It's so exciting. For general admission, the tickets are $15 and $10.